So Bi'ur Mishnah Hey, explanation from Mishnah Hey. We're going to be dealing today with how Bikurim is equal to terumat maaser. Now, what's terumat maaser? Terumat maaser is what after the Levi gets 10%, he needs to give 10% to the Kohen. That's what we're dealing with. Okay. Terumat maaser, the terumat of maaser, שהלוי נותן לכהן ממעשרו, the one that the Levi gives to the Kohen from his tenth that he got from Israel, שווה לביקורים בשתי דרכים. So the terumas maaser is similar to bikurim in two ways, ולתרומה בשתי דרכים, and it is similar to truma in two ways. So some things are similar to bikurim, and some things are going to be similar to truma. Let's see what. בשתי הלכות שווה לביקורים, in two laws it is equal to ביקורים, ובשתי הלכות לתרומה גדולה. And with two laws to the תרומה גדולה, this is what a regular Jew gives 2% to the Kohen. So let's see what's the difference. ניטלת מן הטהור על הטמא, you can give it from pure produce on unpure produce, ושלא מן המוקף כביקורים. And you can also do it not from the mukaf, like bikurim. Now, we're going to explain these two, but just a general thing. What's the mukaf? So it says when you set aside your terumat maaser, you need to be in the area. You cannot say that, the terumat that I have in Be'er Sheva, I'm giving over for. So you have to be within the vicinity. Okay, so that's it. Habikurim shonim מהתרומה. The bikurim are different מתרומה גדולה, from the תרומה גדולה, בשתי הלכות אלו, in these two laws. What? שהתרומה אינה ניטלת אלא מן המוקף. That the truma, when you set aside the 2% to the Kohen, you have to be right there. You have to be in the granary. You have to be next to you. היינו מן הסמוך והקרוב, it has to be close to you. Otherwise you cannot set it aside. You cannot just say, whatever is in that house. ומשום הלכה זו, and because of this law, גזרו חכמים, the sages made a decree, שלא לתרום מן הטהור על הטמא, not to give from pure produce on unpure produce. Because if you're standing next to both pure produce and unpure produce, you're afraid they're going to become intermixed, and then the whole thing is going to go. שמא ייטול אדם תרומה שלא מן המוקף. And it says, why do you have to be next to it? It says, you're afraid the person is going to say, I'm not going to come with unpure produce next to pure produce. So I'm going to say right here, where I am, I don't want to go into the house because I might bring the unpure produce into the house. So I'm going to say, whatever the pure stuff in the house is going to be for Truma. And that you're not allowed to do in Truma. So because of that, they said it. מחשש שמא ייגע הטהור בטמא. You are worried maybe the pure produce is going to touch the impure produce. And you're not allowed to impurify. And since this can cause impurification if you come next to it, they don't even let you do it. אבל ביקורים, but when it comes to bikurim, you're not worried about it. You're not worried about impure bikurim and unpure bikurim because you don't have to be מן המוקף, it doesn't have to be close. אבל ביקורים מפרישים ממקצת אילנות על כל שאר האילנות. But ביקורים you can give from a little bit of trees on all other trees in the orchard. והרי זה שלא מן המוקף. And this is not from the מוקף. In other words, you don't have to be next to the ביקורים when you give it. וכן מותר להפריש ביקורים מן הטהור על הטמא אחר לכיתת הפירות. And also you are allowed, when it comes to ביקורים, to give from the pure on the unpure after you gathered the fruits. So it means if some of the fruit becomes impure, you're allowed to give bikurim from that pot. So it's not a problem, so it's pure. ואף תרומת maaser דינה כביקורים. And we're going to see that the terumat maaser, the truma that the Levi is going to give, the truma that the Levi is going to give to the Kohen, it's also like bikurim. What does it mean? שמותר להפרישה שלא מן המוקף. The Levi is allowed to separate it when he's not at home. He can say, oh, the pile that's in the north side, from that I'm going to give to the Kohen. שנאמר, because it says, כן תרימו גם אתם, because it says, there's a verse in במדבר, it says, so you should elevate, also you, terumat Hashem, the teruma of God, mikol maaserotechem, from all your tithing. ודרשו mikol maaserotechem, and they learned from the words, from all your tithing, אפילו מעשר אחד ביהודה, ומעשר אחד ביהודה, ומעשר אחד בגליל. If he has two places, one in Tucson and one in Phoenix, or one in Tucson and one in New Mexico, you can say, I'm going to give from the orchard in Arizona to the orchard in New Mexico. מפריש תרומת maaser מאחד על הכל. He's allowed to give the teruma for maaser from one produce on all the produce that he have all over the country. וכיוון שנטילת שלא מן המוקף, and since he's allowed to do it because when it comes to maaser the Levi, he doesn't have to be close to it. So therefore, you're not worried that they're going to interchange. You're not worried that the pure is going to touch the impure because you're not going to bring them close to each other because you're allowed to separate it while you're far away from them. So therefore, mutar gam להפריש מן הטהור על הטמא. So therefore, you're also allowed to give from the pure and the impure. So up to here it is. And there's one more thing.
So the Gedolah is the one that's most
severe.
protected.
That's right.
That you have to be there, and you give it away clean.
That's right. And you're not allowed to. That's right. It's actually because you have to, because you're afraid. Because you're afraid, that's why. That's right. Yeah. And because you have to be there, you're also afraid of the purity and impurity.
Right.
That brings the chashash, that brings the worry. Okay.
So, but terumat maaser, what the Levi is giving, is
you don't have to be there.
Like Bikkurim.
That's right.
It's less. You can do it from different places. You don't have to be there.
That's right.
You don't have to be clean.
And you don't have to worry about, and you can give from the unpure and the pure. Also.
You think we're going to learn what the Levi has to do when he gives his to the?
That's what he has to do. He can say the 10% of whatever is in my is my yard,
right.
Or the north side of my pile, the 10% from the north side is going to go to the Kohen. That's good enough. He can just say that. It doesn't have to be next to it, like the Israel with the Truma. Okay. There's another thing about Terumat Maaser. Oseret et hagoren. Terumat Maaser, if the Levi doesn't bring it, if the Levi that didn't separate yet, he's not allowed to eat from his pile. He's not allowed to eat. Asur le'echol mitvuat hagoren. A person is not allowed to eat from the produce of the grain yard. Kodem shufresha mimenu terumat maaser. Before the Levi gave the maaser. ויש מפרשים, the Ardozo says, שאם הקדים הלוי ונטל מעשרו בשיבולים, that if the Levi came first and he took his 10% in שיבולים, והרי הוא עושה את הגורן, and he is doing the grain yard, אסור לו לאכול מגרנו עד שיפריש ממנו את תרומת המעשר. He's not allowed to eat from his grain until he's going to give from it the תרומת מעשר. And another difference, תרומת maaser, יש לה שיעור. It has a measurement. The teruma that the Levi gives to the Kohen has a certain measurement that it's written in the Torah. כמפורש בתורה, like it's written in the Torah, maaser מן המעשר, a tenth of the tenth. היינו עשירית מן המעשר הראשון, a tenth of the first tenth that the Israel gives the Levi. כתרומה, just like תרומה. כמו ששנינו שהתרומה אוסרת את הגורן ויש לה שיעור מדרבנן. The תרומה forbids the entire granary, and it has the measurement from the Rabbanan, and it has Bikkurim also has a measurement, like we said, 1 in 60, but you cannot find it mentioned in the Torah, any of the, so therefore it says it doesn't have a measurement. But it actually does have a measurement, but not, it doesn't even hint of that measurement in the Torah, unlike terumat maaser that it actually says specifically in the Torah.